A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to some more of Bandtastic here on HJN. So now it's time for number 2124 in the series, but the particular band that I'm going to be focusing on here is known as Cage the Elephant. Yeah, kind of another ridiculous name here, but let's just get started with things here. Brad and Matt Schultz, who are technically brothers here, they founded this band in a township in Kentucky known as Bowling Green in the year 2006. And in 2008, they got along in the country known as England, particularly in the city of London. They had their self-titled album released shortly after that point in 2008, but since then, let's just say, they have made themselves other albums, such as Melophobia and Tell Me I'm Pretty, which were mostly 2010's successes. But when you really get down to it, there hasn't necessarily been a whole lot that was worth to talk about. Like I've said, there probably could be more material worth talking about here, but in terms of how they might work these days, if there's one particular thing about Cage the Elephant that probably will need to be pointed out here, it's pretty much in the same way as I've talked about with some other bands where some controversy has popped up. In this case, Matt Schultz, who's now 39 years old, going on 40, he unfortunately had pleaded guilty to weapon possession. They were all armed and dangerous. Supposedly, he's not getting a prison sentence for it. But whether or not you think that that's a good thing, it doesn't really have to stand up to chance or competition. Because if the court's going to rule that he's not guilty or guilty, it's not our business anymore. It's out of our own legal hands at this point. But even if he doesn't end up going to prison by any means, for any other reason other than having loaded firearms, the main problem is the usage of weapons or firearms in general. A thing that is always going to be disregarded by me, myself and I, and plenty of other things in general. People as a whole. Either it's control or it's not control at all. But you know what though? One other problem still stands to reason here. Would Cage the Elephant themselves be in trouble? I hope not. Just because one guy has legal problems doesn't mean that it has to carry on through the rest of the entire band. That'd be like saying that a member of the LGBT community was sentenced to death for a crime that he committed. It doesn't need to carry on through the rest of the whole community. We don't know everything that is going on! Like, come on. I don't even know what my own brother, boyfriend, or even my own two boys, Choo Choo and Kramer, are doing right now. But that really just leaves me worried. A feeling of concern. What if they do cross paths with the law in a certain fashion? What if they do end up locked behind bars someday? And how is it going to affect me as a whole? I don't really want to know at this point. I don't even want them to go out into the real world knowing that someday they are bound to be caught and handcuffed by cops. And moreover, problems like this. It's problems like this that happen, that are indeed the problem. You know, because when one bit of controversy comes up, it turns into a whole new world of topics. You know, one article can turn into millions of articles practically overnight. Millions of statements, millions of hashtags, or whatever you plan on using for the day. Oh, but you know what though? I don't even want to bother. What actually will happen? Hopefully nothing goes wrong with these guys. But you know what though? At least for what they've done so far, with a few albums to work with and some pretty typical style, but with a unique sense of flair to them, I sure hope that these guys don't just completely cut everything off just because of a couple of problems that went down recently. But other than that, that's pretty much it for this piece of HJN. I'll see you guys next time.